Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with the third episode of Road to Ranked. You guys have showed a crazy amount of support for the first two episodes, so thank you all so much. It really means the world to me, and let's continue to support the series by liking the video. As always, let's aim for 500 likes on this video for another upload tomorrow. In addition, a bunch of you guys actually said you wanted to see 2 battles instead of 1 for future episodes, so if you'd enjoy that more, definitely let me know in the description below, and I'll do my best to accommodate that in the future. I'll kind of go for that based off how much support I see, but you guys have really enjoyed the series so far, so I'll aim for two battles in the future if that's what you'd like to see, so let me know in the comments below. Anyway, today we're going to be using the exact same team as the previous 2 battles. I'm going to be switching teams very soon, but I still want to play around a bit with my Mega Camera Up team. Of course, that team is Camera Up, Rotom Wash, Bisharp, Cresselia, Hariyama, and Sylveon. I'm going to find a 1593 rated player from South Korea. His team is going to be Kangaskhan, Thundurus, Aerodactyl, Liepard, Politoed, and Ludicolo. So a really interesting and quite threatening team if you ask me. First of all, he's got Thundurus, he's got a lot of really speedy and fast Pokemon. Speedy and fast, that's redundant, but he's got Pokemon that often carry Taunt. For example, Thundurus, Aerodactyl, and Liepard are all Pokemon that carry Taunt. Kangaskhan's got the Fake Out, as does Ludicolo. He's got the Rain Mode. He's got the Encore on Liepard as an option. So, really scary team to go up against, I'd say. And I'm not exactly sure what I want to lead with just yet. I think Hariyama Cresselia is pretty safe. There's not very much my opponent can actually do against Hariyama, which is nice. The goal of the game is definitely to set up Trick Room, but that's going to be very difficult given my opponent's team. It looks like he's got a bunch of Taunters. I'm still going to have Camera Up in the back, and for the last one, I am thinking Bisharp. It's between Bisharp and Rotom Wash, quite honestly. Rotom Wash doesn't have a great matchup against Ludi, but can at least burn the Kangaskhan. Bisharp, on the other end, can knock off some items. And his team is pretty fail. Even Sylveon would be a decent one to bring into this. You know what? I'm going to try out Sylveon. I haven't really used Sylveon very much, but this one is bulky. So, I'm going to go with Hariyama, Cresselia, Camera Up, and Sylveon. I'm not too worried about the Rain Mode on my opponent's team because I've got Sunny Day on Cresselia, but I guess we'll see how that ends up playing out, whether he even decides to bring Rain or not. But like I said, this is a very scary team to go up against as a Trick Room user, mainly because he's got so many different options in terms of leads, Fake Outers. You know, there are 3 Pokemon that can potentially Fake Out, 3 Pokemon that can Taunt. Aerodactyl reminds me of the Tailwind as well. Kangaskhan's definitely the Mega Evolution. I'd assume Aerodactyl is Focus Sash, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So I'm going to lead with my Hariyama and Cresselia, which is by far probably my most common lead with this team, as he goes with Liepard and Thundurus, which is a interesting lead matchup. He's got the Air Balloon with Liepard, which is something I was not expecting to see. So this isn't a bad lead matchup for me, per se. I'm not going to fall into the trap of getting Encored by the Liepard. I think I'm going to go for the close combat right away on the Liepard, and he's probably going to be tempted to taunt my Cresselia, so I'm going to go for the first turn Ice Beam onto Thundurus just to get some damage off and see if he's actually carrying Taunt. He is going to go for the Fake Out onto Hariyama, smart play, as he does go for the Taunt as I expected, so not going to fall into his trap there as I just went for the Ice Beam right away. And Crest does get the Ice Beam off, and he's got the Yache Berry, which is really interesting. The only other time I've really seen Yache Berry on Thundurus was in the 2013 World Championship Junior Finals. My brother's opponent actually had a Yache Berry on the Thundurus, but often you see Citrus Berry. So maybe that means the Ludicolo he's got in the back has the Citrus. So I still feel really good about my position. There's not very much he can really do. And based off team preview, there's not very much he can actually switch into to take the close combat. He's got the Poly, Ludi, Kangaskhan, and Aerodactyl, so he's really weak to close combat. So I'm going to close combat the Liepard. That's a relatively safe mood, and go for another Ice Beam onto Thundurus. And I'm just trying to get as much damage off as possible right now. It is perfectly fine that I didn't set up Trick Room. His leads are pretty passive in terms of offense against mine. Liepard really can't do any offense, and we're going to see the Thundurus switch out. Now the question is whether he switches Liepard out or not. And the Politoed is going to come in. Okay, so a good switch in by my opponent there. That's going to set up the Rain for the potential Ludicolo he's got in the back, but the question is whether he actually even has Ludicolo or not. He's going to go for the Charm, which was a move I was not expecting to see there, but that's going to decrease the attack of my Hariyama by 2. Let's see if close combat is enough to knock out the Liepard or not, because Liepard is very frail, so, you know, even with the -2, I suspect it might still be able to pick up the knockout. And it does, so you see how really clutch the Hariyama is there. That's why Hariyama's become one of my favorite Pokemon in both VGC 2014 and as of right now 2015. The ability to take attacks really well yet still get that damage output is just absolutely incredible. So I take a 4-3 lead there, which is really good for me. But I am in kind of a bad position right now given the fact Cresselia is taunted. But he doesn't have the Kangaskhan, which is interesting to see. Now, I can make a pretty free switch into Sylveon. But unfortunately, that means Cress won't be able to do very much. But I'm going to make the switch into Sylveon. That way I can fake out once again with Hariyama, get rid of this special attack decrease, and basically set up Cresselia for when the taunt goes out. I don't want to switch out Cress because Hariyama can feint at this point from a double target. And Hariyama's really key in this matchup right now. He's going to go for the Energy Ball, interesting move, onto Cresselia, which is going to eat that really well. Oh, and he has Surf, interesting, on the Politoed. So that's going to do a decent amount of damage with the Rain Boost. He doesn't have the Absorb Bulb on Ludicolo, which is a not relatively common, but somewhat common item. And of course, this Cresselia has Leftover, so I'm going to be able to heal back a bit. And that was good. Sylveon came in for free, and Taunt wears off, which means I can now set up Trick Room, which is really good. So I'm going to go for a Hyper Voice Trick Room. And the beauty about my position right now is if he double targets Crest, then I get a full-powered Life Orb Hyper Voice off. But if he doesn't double target Crest, then Trick Room goes up, and I'm in a fantastic position. So my opponent's definitely in quite a tough spot right now. And part of it is because, you know, his leads just weren't very good against mine. He's actually going to target down the Sylveon with the Scald, and getting the burn as well. So that might cause me some trouble, especially with the Surf. I suspect that the Surf damage plus the burn is going to be enough to knock me out. And it is going to be able to, but at least Sylveon gets a Hyper Voice before it faints. And that does a lot of damage to both my opponent's Pokemon. Gonna faint from the Life Orb, but Sylveon did his job. Took the attack, you know, and baited an attack away from Cresselia, and Cresselia now successfully sets up Trick Room, which is fantastic for me. So now I'm in a really, really, really good position. I have 4 turns of Trick Room. Not really much my opponent can even do. I'm going to bring in Hariyama right now because I want to set up the Sunny Day with my Cresselia. So Hari is going to come in for free. I'm going to be able to... I'm going to go for the... I want to Ice Punch the Ludi, but I don't know if that's actually enough to knock it out. So I'm just going to go for the safe Fake Out onto Ludicolo, and this first turn I'm going to go for the Sunny Day. By setting up Sunny Day, that like basically puts pressure on him to either switch out Politoed, and if he stays in, then Politoed's not really going to be able to do anything, and Camera Up in the back should be able to clean things up. Nice play by him to actually switch out the Politoed though, so maybe he was anticipating me going for the Sunny Day. So I'm going to go for the Fake Out here onto Ludi. Shouldn't knock it out, but brings it down to very close, and Crest does get rid of the Rain, which is nice, and I still have 3 turns of Trick Room left, so it's kind of hard to see me actually losing this match, barring any crazy shenanigans, but if there's any Pokemon that can turn things around, it's definitely Thundurus with its access to Swagger and Thunder Wave and everything. So now I'm just going to go for the Ice Punch onto Thundurus. I'm actually thinking of going for another Sunny Day in case he switches out Ludicolo into Politoed, but I am going to play it safe and Ice Beam the Ludicolo. And he doesn't switch it out, so that's good. He's actually going to Thunder Wave my Hariyama, which of course, because I have the Guts ability, is going to even increase my attack more. And I do get the Ice Punch off. That's going to seal up the game, basically. If there's any way he wanted to win, he needed that Thundurus to stay around to get some more Thunder Wave and Swaggers off. But not going to be the case. Going to pick up a knockout on the Thundurus, going to pick out a knockout on the Ludicolo here, and there's really no way a Politoed can win against a Hariyama, Sunny Day Cresselia, and a Camera Up that I've got in the back. So, managed to take this game pretty easily just from the beginning. Of course, I didn't fall for the taunt, which was always good, but against the Thundurus or Liepard, you should immediately assume taunt's coming from at least one of those 2 Pokemon, most likely Thundurus. If you see Thundurus, you should basically assume taunt is on that. Of course, the most common set is taunt, Thunder Wave, HP Ice, and Thunderbolt, but sometimes you see Swagger instead of HP Ice. It's the most common Thundurus set in previous years, and as the case is this year. So now I can just close combat Sunny Day, even if Hariyama's fully paralyzed, you know, not going to matter. And my opponent's actually going to forfeit the game there, knowing there's not much he can do. So I'm going to take a 3-1 win. Pretty interesting to see another Liepard after it was featured earlier on in the Road to Rank series already, but that was definitely a pretty convincing win against a very scary team at first. But I think Hariyama was the key to this matchup. It could close combat my opponent's entire team and basically KO everything, and this is why you in general in VGC team building wants something that can kind of switch into any attack. For example, had he had a Pokemon that could switch into close combat, that would have helped him out a lot more. But by choosing to lead with Thunder's Liepard, I was really in a good position right from the start, and that's why Hari Cresselia is a pretty strong lead. So able to take a 3-1 win there. I think my rating should be around 1700 right now, which is exciting. Of course, my goal is to end with over a 1900 rating, but we'll see as the series continues. Anyway, that's it for today's battle, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Always cool to feature all these really unique teams in Pokemon, and this was the first rain team I've run into in Aura, so that was always cool. Anyway, leave a like if you enjoyed the battle. As always, let's aim for 500 likes for another upload tomorrow, and that's it for today's video, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.